Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, how late is too late to arrive at work? Also, how coffee might save your life. All that and more on the way next. Welcome to the Hudson Show from RadioU. Just watched the Nathan's famous hot dog eating competition for the first time in years for me, and I have some thoughts. First of all, I did not watch the women's competition, unfortunately, and it's not because I'm anti-women. It's because it started much earlier. I think the women's one wound up starting at like 11 Eastern or something like that. And so by the time I was tuned in, I didn't even realize. And it's ironic, too, because the men's, I thought, started around noon, and they didn't actually get rolling until almost 1 o'clock. So that said, the competition's actually going on. I'm a hot dog lover. What did I think about it? I don't like it. And it has nothing to do with Joey Chestnut. I don't care. It's good to see some new blood in the hot dog ring. I guess that's a really disturbing sentence. But it's not because of Joey Chestnut not being there. I'll tell you why I don't like the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, and I don't think I want to watch it again. It's because I am a hot dog lover, and hot dogs are meant to be enjoyed. Hot dogs aren't meant to be thrown at your face in a flurry of just meat and bun and water. That's not what hot dogs are for. Hot dogs. So I've said before, I would step up. I would take Joey Chestnut's place and participate and possibly even win the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. No, I don't think I would because I definitely wouldn't win. I wouldn't win eating the most. And it's not because I'm not capable of eating a ton of hot dogs. It's because I wouldn't want to go through them that fast. I want to savor them. So if there was a contest to see who could enjoy hot dogs the most, hey, I might be able to win that. It's the Hudson Show. The fast food value menu wars continue on. Sonic has entered the chat after McDonald's and Burger King copied Wendy's homework and Taco Bell threw their hat into the fray with, they basically copied themselves. Sonic is now putting a new twist on the value menu, and I'm kind of here for it. They have what they call the Fun 99 menu. It's like fun.99. It's a bunch of items that are $1.99, like a quarter-pound double cheeseburger for $1.99. Not bad. Also, you know, I'm going to love this. The chili cheese coney hot dog. Yes. Small tots for $1.99. Feels like that's a little bit of a ripoff. But also, 16-ounce Sonic shakes in any of their 12 flavors. A shake for $2.99 or a $1.99. I'm into that. And then they've also introduced 2 brand new items that are going to be on this menu as well. A bacon ranch queso wrap and a Southwest Crunch queso wrap. Let's absolutely go. Sonic is out here doing something a little different with the value menu, and I like it. You mix and match. Wendy's, McDonald's, they don't give you a whole heck of a lot of choices. They're like, hey, you don't got a lot of money? Well, then you get a burger and fries, and you're going to like it. Sonic's like, hey, do what you want. $1.99. You want to do a hot dog and a bacon ranch queso wrap and a milkshake, and it's all $6, go for it. I am definitely into this. Well done, Sonic. I think, at least at the moment, they've won the value menu wars, but just patiently waiting and hoping and praying that Popeyes will get in on this. Drinking coffee could literally save your life, especially if you're the type of person who lives a very sedentary lifestyle. You like to sit around a lot. If you do, that is okay, as long as you drink coffee. A new study published in BMC Public Health, whatever that is, but I'm going to believe them, has found that while sitting around for long periods of time is linked to increased risk of early death, if you somebody who sits down for long periods of time but drinks coffee while you do it, you are basically immune. You don't have that same increased risk of early death. So if you're sitting around a lot, make sure you're drinking some coffee while you do it. And remember, the worst possible thing that you could do is sit around and not drink coffee. You're going to die. You're basically just sitting there dying is what you're doing. Now, finance experts are calling this summer hot travel debt summer because of a new survey that has found that while many Americans, of course, plan to take a summer vacation, a shockingly high number of Americans plan to go into debt to go on vacation this summer. It says at least 62% of folks are expecting to carry a balance on a credit card due to their vacation plans for this summer. Now, some will say that's not great because now you're going to pay interest on the vacation that you're taking, and that's going to last a while. That's going to come back to bite you. But to that, I say, don't be so negative about it, because while the interest and the marks on your credit score may last quite a while, the memories you make on a vacation can last a lifetime, right? So I don't want to be so negative. And also, 28% of people do say that they're not taking a vacation at all because they can't afford it, that's not a good sign for our country. It's Would You Rather Wednesday. We've got a great Would You Rather Wednesday question today submitted by Veronica at 8772 RadioU, asking, would you rather live life as a crab or as a zebra? And lots of good thoughts coming in. Craig says the average lifespan of most crabs is less than 3 years. The average lifespan of a zebra is up to 25. I'll take zebra. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Would you rather live your life happy for 3 years as a crab or, being hunted by lions for 25 years as a zebra? Which actually brings up Regina's comment. She says, I'm going with zebra because I'm much less likely to be hunted, at least by people, and they can cover more ground as opposed to crabs. I mean, humans aren't going to hunt zebras. I don't think we do. But zebras get hunted by like lions and cheetahs, right? Like, big cats. And if a human catches a crab, the crab, like, we're pretty humane in how we kill the crab, right? If a lion catches you as a zebra, it's eating you alive. What a horrible way. What an absolutely devastating way to go. Have you ever watched like National Geographic, Discovery Channel? The way those zebras are taken out, I don't think that's the way I want to go. Granted, I think that's usually like the sick ones, right? Because the healthy ones are able to get away. So I don't know. We also have somebody chiming in here saying that I am going with zebras because I love horses. All right. Horse girl on our hands here. Not a lot of support for the crab position. Craig's comment talking about how long crabs live got me actually looking it up a little bit. And while most crabs live like 3 years, and Regina pointed out many crabs hunted by humans for their meat, I was looking it up. There's some crabs that live in like the deep ocean. The spider crab, it lives up to 100 years. It looks like an actual, like something out of a horror movie or like Godzilla. It is absolutely disgusting to look at. But, if I'm going to live 100 years happily in the ocean, I don't know. I just feel like I like the ocean. I think I thrive as a crab. Zebra's very social. I'm more isolated. I think a lot of hermit crabs, literally, they live just like solo, right? That's why they're called hermit crabs. So I'm definitely going crab. Live my life on the beach. I don't have to worry about lions. If a seagull or something gets to me, so be it. I'm definitely team crab, but I feel like, I feel like I'm a bit alone on an island. But you ever feel like Taco Bell is so good it should be illegal? Well, if this is what's in your Taco Bell order, it is. A woman in Tennessee was just arrested after she was pulled over, and authorities found in her car a bunch of what seemed like Taco Bell burritos, but in fact, what was inside was a stash of meth, LSD, THC, and fentanyl-laced gummies, pills, marijuana, and it was all wrapped up in Taco Bell burrito wrappers. So obviously, you can't do that. And look, having drugs, transporting anything to do with drugs, it's no good, but it does make it seem kind of fun, doesn't it? If like to be a drug dealer, to transport drugs, you have to roll up to Taco Bell. This lady was probably like, yeah, give me a dozen 5-layer burritos. And then her and an accomplice had to be like, come on, Jim, we got to eat all of these. We need the wrappers. We need them all. That does kind of sound like fun. But I mean, I guess you could do that and just not then put drugs in the wrappers and have a real fun night. Get your popcorn ready. It's the weekend watch list on the Hudson Show on RadioU, letting you know what's new that you could be watching in theaters and at home this weekend. July 4th weekend, typically a big weekend for new movies. This weekend, I don't know if that can exactly be said. There's some bigger names, but I don't know if it's stuff that gets anybody excited. But we'll find out. Let's start with Netflix putting out a new movie. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Eddie Murphy returns in the I don't know what installment. It says after his daughter's life is threatened, wisecracking detective Axel Foley teams up with a new partner and some old pals to turn up the heat on a conspiracy. It has a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics say, Brian Lowry of CNN.com, Axel F only turns up the heat to a low simmer, but as breezy escapism goes, those armed with the proper attitude might find themselves doing the Neutron or a version of it all over, the Neutron dance or a version of it all over again. I'll be honest, I guess that's a reference to some of the previous Beverly Hills Cops. I've never seen any of them, so I don't have much of a frame of reference, although I do know the song. So maybe that is something for you if you have a history with Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop, but maybe not. Maybe you want to go to theaters to see Despicable Me 4. Gru welcomes a new member to the family, Gru Jr., who's intent on tormenting his dad. However, their peaceful existence soon comes crashing down when criminal mastermind Maxim Lamal escapes from prison and vows revenge against Gru. It only has a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, but honestly, if you were going to go see Despicable Me 4 anyways, that was even in your wheelhouse whatsoever, do you care what the critics say? Well, either way, I'll let you know. Kyle Smith of the Wall Street Journal says, the heart of the Gruniverse is slapstick and capers, but the balance is all off here. A disappointing script by Mike White and Ken Dorio, who co-wrote the first 3 entries, goes all in on lame physical comedy. You're telling me Mike White from Freaks and Geeks and School of Rock and White Lotus wrote this movie? You're out of your mind. He's written all the Despicable Me's. By the way, there's 4 Despicable Me's and however many Minions movies. What are we doing here? I've seen a few of them. Not my favorite. But so that one's not for me. But I'm sure that'll be number 1 at the box office by a wide margin. Maybe neither of those are for you. You want something a little fresher, a little newer, a little different. Maybe you want Space Cadet, which is now on Prime Video. A Florida party girl, Emma Roberts, turns out to be the only hope for the NASA space program after a fluke puts her in training with other candidates who may have better resumes, but don't have her smarts, heart, and moxie. Yeah, that sounds great, doesn't it? It's got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times puts it simply. He says, peppy and harmless, but unbearably dumb. Well, put forth your options there. Let me know what you think you'll see if you get out to see anything good this weekend at 8772 Radio U. For me, I actually did it. I watched The Sandlot, and it is the perfect July 4th movie. When Ray Charles comes in singing America the Beautiful, it doesn't get a whole heck of a lot better than that. Can't believe I haven't seen The Sandlot all these years. Do you do anything, traditional in honor of July 4th? I don't mean like fireworks. I mean, some people actually read the Declaration of Independence or things of that nature, something very historic you ever do. I've experienced that before. There's sometimes I'll just find speeches from July 4th that I'll go back and listen to that are very powerful. And I was thinking, back when the original July 4th in 1776, when America was becoming independent, it must have been such an exciting time, so hopeful. People are like, man, we've lived under British tyranny for so long, and now finally, freedom, finally, hope, finally, something better, something different. And I feel like that's a little bit of a contrast to now. I feel like that's something we need to get back to. Maybe just me, because when I feel like I experience, what our politics is, how our politicians talk, it's a lot less, hey, here's some hope for the future, and a little more like, well, you don't want things to get bad, do you? You don't want things to get worse than they already are, because that's what happens if you vote for the other guy. I feel like that's what we get a lot in when we're talking about politics nowadays, and I don't know if that's always how it was. Either way, I feel like we all could use a little hope in our lives, a little looking forward with excitement instead of looking forward in fear, hoping that things don't get worse than they do. Well, than they already are. Let me let you know about this, that you can find hope with God. That's exactly what he wants to offer. God isn't just saying, hey, come with me, have a relationship with me, because if you don't, things will get worse. God is saying, when you join me, when you have a relationship with me, when you let me into your life, I can make things better. I want to give you hope for the future. I want to make things better for you, not just keep them from getting worse. If you want to experience that, start talking to God. Find out straight from him. Say, hey, Jesus, show me the hope that you have for my life. And he will. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift. I feel that when July 4th rolls around, it's your patriotic duty as an American to watch baseball. There's nothing more American than that. Except, I don't know if you saw this, the Yankees-Reds game on July 4th. Things got extra patriotic between the two teams. 2 players for the Yankees, 2 pitchers, Ian Hamilton and Cody Poteet. And then 2 players for the Reds, Graham Ashcraft and Carson Spears. After the national anthem had concluded to start the game, those 4 players got in a little bit of a standoff, a salute off, where they each on their own base, on their own side of the field, continued to stand even while the rest of the players got out on the field and started warming up for the first pitch. These 4 guys were kind of in a mini little competition to see who could stay on the field and salute the flag longer. It was all in good fun. Nobody, and I just love it. I love the patriotism. I love the little friendly little competition between the 4 guys. And I love that not only did the Yankees lose that little national anthem standoff, they also lost the game, and they've been losing a lot of games lately. Nothing makes me happier than that. Let's say you have to get to work at 9 a.m. How far after 9 a.m. do you have to get there before you're officially late? You can still chime in at 8772 Radio U, but I'll let you know that Michael says anything past 6 minutes is considered late where he works. Also, Bridget says up to 15 minutes after 9, 15 minutes whenever you're supposed to be there, counts as on time in her book. Susanna says it depends on the job, but I'd say 10 minutes is dangerous and 15 is too far. Uh-oh, Bridget. And Regina says, in my opinion, it's 1 minute late, but my husband's work gives him 5 minutes. So basically everybody's 15 minutes is the max that we're going to go to. Oh, I also, speaking of Max says, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. Of course, I knew somebody was going to say something like that. The reason I bring it up is because there's a new survey out of 1,000 workers that has found that basically your opinion on what late is for work depends very much so on how old you are. Those under the age of 26 were likely to say that being 5 to 10 minutes late is essentially the same as being on time. Whereas if you're a boomer, almost all of boomers, about 3/4 of boomers said that if you're not actually on time or earlier, then you are late. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to have an underrated opinion, or maybe unpopular. I think that getting to work on time is overrated. Now, it does depend on the job. For radio, for a long time, when all I did was get to work when I had to go on the air, obviously, if I was late for that, that'd be a big deal, because then there'd be nobody here to talk. And then what would we do? But I think outside of that, like for many jobs, if you're just working a desk job, oh, I'm 5 minutes late, I'm 15 minutes late. I feel like if you're going to be more than 10, you should probably say something just so people don't start to wonder. But other than that, if you're 10 minutes late, I don't know, stay 10 minutes late later on. Take a 10 or make your lunch 10 minutes late. Like whatever you need to do, you can make up that time. I think, maybe it is a little bit of a generational thing where a lot more used to come crashing to a halt in the olden days. If you weren't the olden days, like 20, 30 years ago, before we had computers and everything, I feel like things were more likely to come crashing to a halt if you were late. Now the world spins on. The job will continue. You can be 10 minutes late. Just make up the time. Don't cheat your employer if you're hourly, but I'm not. You need to be there 9 a.m. on the dot for most jobs. Kevin Bacon, he feels like he's not as famous as he used to be, but he's still pretty famous. He actually happens to be in 2 movies that are out this weekend, including Beverly Hills Cop Axel F on Netflix. And he recently did an interview to promote the upcoming movies that he is in with Vanity Fair. And he said in the interview that he, because he is famous, tried out once going to a special effects makeup artist so that he could put on a disguise to go out in public and not be recognized. He says even if you put on a hat and glasses, it doesn't necessarily work. He's been so famous. I mean, he really was back around Footloose time, and then since then, he's had some very high heights of fame. So he went out to a shopping mall in L.A., disguised as not Kevin Bacon, and he says nobody recognized him. People were kind of pushing past him, not being nice. He says nobody said, I love you. He had to wait in line to order a coffee. And he said, this sucks. He's getting some backlash for that from some folks who, one, didn't realize that he is joking. But two, I think, don't understand. I don't even think he has to be joking. It's true. If you were a celebrity or if you got the opportunity to go out in public and people would just say, I love you, be super extra nice to you, you wouldn't have to wait in line. Or the option to not do that. The option to not have those things does suck. So Kevin Bacon joking, but also accurate. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.